Okay, so this is the process of making silt cast bells. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to compact the river silt down, and then we're going to use some sort of tool. In this case, I'm just using a soup spoon to dig everything out. And you can see that we make the little bell forms into the sand. And I'm pressing down the sand a little bit as well to compact it to make a better cast to get it a little bit cleaner. And I've cut it out a little bit, but then we're going to let it dry a little while. And once it's good and dry-ish, we go ahead and we put the clay slip into each of these forms. Again, after this, I've cut some of the time out, but we can see if you look around the edge of the bells that the water starts to seep out. And once we get a little bit of water seepage out in there, we can go ahead and take the clay that's in there in the middle of it out. And this leaves us with the form in the mold. I'm a little impatient, so I often will put a fan over it. And a few hours later, here we can trim this once it's a little less soupy. Of course, we can also use a heat gun to go ahead and firm them up a little bit more. And then I'll also often dig a little bit of the sand out from around them once they are good, they are hard enough to hold their form, to let them air dry a little bit more. You can see I also use the heat gun a little more here. Once they are dry enough, I'll start to dig further and further around them. And eventually we're going to get to the point here in a minute where we will have the bells almost completely out, and we'll be able to start moving them around here and breaking them free from the surrounding river silt. You can see I'm doing this last one here. And there we have it broken out. I also will then usually put my little chop mark into the bells. You can see if you do something like I did here and put a hole in one of them, you can just take some clay and cover that back up. I drilled the little hanger holes in for the finished piece for at least one of these. You can do this at multiple times. You'll see I'll do the bells next. And once they're good enough to be picked up here, I go ahead and pull them out, set them upside down on a board. There we go. Clean up the holes, add them to the other one, and these will then be ready for firing.